Hello everyone, welcome to the first in a series of videos I'm making for my 2019 Crossing Newfoundland by ATV trip. First, I want to give a big thank you to all of you who follow these series and have subscribed to my channel. I sincerely appreciate it. If this is your first time watching one of these videos, I hope you enjoy it. And please tune in to watch future videos in this series. If you like this video, please consider clicking the subscribe button just under the bottom right of the screen and the bell icon so that you're notified automatically each time I upload a new video. For 2019, we decided to do something different and we did a West Coast only trip instead of crossing the entire island. Also, we added a couple of extra days to our trip this year for a total of 9 days of riding instead of 7. As per usual, we started our adventure with a road trip by hauling our ATVs and side-by-sides to the Marine Atlantic Ferry Terminal in North Sydney, Nova Scotia. We offloaded our vehicles in a parking lot across the street, left them there, and drove our machines directly onto the ferry. We took the overnight ferry, which leaves around midnight and arrives at Port Aux Basques usually around 7 a.m. It was great to start our day bright and early because we had a lot to see and we had over 185 kilometers or 115 miles to travel. If you want to do this trip, you can plan it on your own by visiting my website, crossingnewfoundlandbyatv.com. Everything you need to know is there, including easy-to-follow GPS tracks and information on where to stay, get gas, food, supplies. I even have trips listed that show you how to cross the entire island east to west for 5, 6, 7, 8 days or more, or even just a West Coast tour. I've thought of everything. Tons of people have used my website to do this trip, even beginners, and so can you. I don't charge money, but I've put a lot of time into putting this information online for people to use. So if you use it to plan your trip and you'd like to give me a donation to help me out with the costs of running the website and to cover the time that I put into this, I would sincerely appreciate it. You can send me money through a PayPal link on my website or an e-transfer. If you were to hire a guide, it would cost you about $600 to $800 per every person in your group. Let's get into the nitty-gritty for day one. Once we get off the ferry, we took a trail from the boat to the start of the trailway with a stop at a gas station located across the street to get our riding gear on and make sure that our other gear is safely secured to our racks. We arrived at the gas station about 7:45 a.m. and we didn't leave until about 8:30 a.m. Once we were set to go, we simply crossed the street and jumped on the trail. One of the benefits of the West Coast tour is that the trail follows the coastline as soon as you get off the boat, and you have unbelievable scenery along the coast. If this is your first time, you'll probably drive slowly to try to take it all in. Our first stop was just a quick stop at J.T. Cheeseman Provincial Park to see the beach. We stopped only for a few photos because we knew we'd be backtracking on this way on our last day. What we didn't realize is that the beach would look a little different on our way back, because during our trip, Hurricane Dorian would decide to land on Newfoundland and it hit Port Aux Basques hard. Our next stop was a few miles up the track in Cape Ray. We stopped around 9:30 a.m., followed an 8-kilometer trail, which is about 5 miles, straight to the top. It's a steep trail up the mountain, so we had to go slow. The view overlooking the ocean below was amazing. We stayed there for about an hour.
It looks like it's straight up. Oh, okay. Okay, I'll stop here then and wait. I'll pull up a little bit. Oh.
So we were up over 450 meters here. That's over 1,400 feet. We had a great time. The views were spectacular. We were lucky that it was sunny and clear. We've been through here other years where we didn't even bother to go to the top because you could see that it was totally covered in cloud.
Too bad you didn't have video.
After the mountain trail, we get back on the trailway, continued for about another 10 kilometers, which is about 6 miles. Rode to a beautiful beach to a nice bluff, and we got there around 11:30. Again, we stopped, took some pictures. We followed another trail shown here in red, got back on the main trailway. You've probably noticed that this year I brought my full windshield on my Can-Am Commander. Usually I don't do that. This year I did it because we knew we were going to be hitting that Hurricane Dorian and had no idea how bad the weather was going to get, so I figured I'd better bring it to be on the safe side. About another 20 kilometers up the trail, there's a gas station in Doyle's. Even though you wouldn't be on the trail long at this point, I suggest stopping and topping up your tanks whenever you can. When you leave Doyle's, there are a few beautiful side trips you can take I have shown on my map, but we skipped them and saved them for our last day because we would be backtracking. But we did stop at an old train trestle in South Branch, and we arrived there around 1 p.m. We stopped for about 45 minutes and barbecued lunch. Once we were back on our way, we made a quick stop at Codroy Pond, which is right on the trailway. We got there about 2:45 p.m., took some pictures, and then we moved on.
Yeah, that's you can see the cabin up there, look at that.
We hammered down for a while until we stopped at another bridge in Flat Bay for a break. Then we continued and stopped at a huge sandpit a few miles from St. George's. We were making good time, so we stopped and played around for a few minutes.
Terrence is going. Oh, and after Bill comes down. Is he in two-wheel drive? He's gonna... needs a runoff. He was too close. Is he in low gear maybe? Almost.
His CF Moto Z-Force 500 just didn't have the horsepower to get him over the top, unfortunately. It's hard to get perspective in this video, but that's a really steep hill. For 99% of what Terrence does, that machine does just fine for him, but that hill was just too steep.
Oh, you were close, bud.
On our 2018 trip, Dale came with us, but he didn't have this Yamaha 1000. He had a Honda Pioneer 700, so he upgraded a little bit.
He did her.
On previous years, Dan had a CF Moto Z-Force 500, just like Terrence, but a different color. He also upgraded this year to the Commander.
Okay. No problem. High gear it is.
That's got to be a record. You go. I got a video going. Jesus, you barely moving.
I'm just, my foot's off the gas.
Yeah, I had to give it a gas.
Engine braking.
Ooh.
After we stopped playing around at the Sandpit, we continued on. Then we stopped for gas at Stephenville Crossing. Then we made it to Dune Lodge around 7:15 that night.
Feels weird driving with the sun on the other side. Yeah. You guys are washed out on the bridge, I guess. Somebody's got a stake marked. Got a big stick sticking out of it. What does it say? Oh, just caution.
Our total mileage for the day was about 185 kilometers, which is 115 miles. Our total track time was about 11 hours and 20 minutes. That included all of our stops. Our average moving speed was about 33 kilometers an hour, which is 20 miles per hour. Keep in mind, that's our average speed. We were moving faster than that in quite a few places. And our maximum altitude for the day was 449 meters, which is 1,473 feet. We spent the night at Dune Lodge and Black Duck Siding, which is just outside Stephenville Crossing. We really liked it there, and I'm going to show you some pictures of it, but just before I do that, I want to mention a few other options you have. If you're planning on doing a similar trip to ours, you have a few options. It's legal now to ride ATVs on the streets in Stephenville, just like it is in Corner Brook. Now, when you come past Stephenville Crossing, if you look on my map, there's this orange trail here that's about 10 kilometers. That's actually old rail bed that'll take you right into Stephenville. This purple line that I'm showing you here is a legal road you can drive on to get into town and to get to amenities like gas stations, restaurants, hotels, and so forth. This blue line over here, it's also legal. And this orange line over here is also legal. So I've got a few places marked. The Days Inn in Stephenville, which is right on one of the legal trails. You can also get to, say, the Dreamcatcher Lodge. And then if you zoom in on the map, there's a lot of amenities here right? You've got the Walmart store, which is right next to the hotel over here, the Days Inn. You know, there's a gas station right over here. There's lots of places within walking distance, lots of restaurants. There's lots of different things in Stephenville. So if you feel like staying in the town for the night rather than a little bit off the trail like we did up in Black Duck Siding, you have lots of options. Now, we chose Black Duck Siding for a few reasons. We have a large group. They were able to accommodate us, no problem. And since we're heading east in the morning, this is on our way, with no backtracking required. Also, they have a very nice restaurant with great food, a very friendly staff. They couldn't have been any more accommodating to us. We were really happy staying here, and we would do it again. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please consider hitting the subscribe button, and stay tuned for part 2, where we travel all the way from Dune Lodge to Corner Brook with a few exciting stops in between.